Hello, Precise Pilates people. Welcome back to week 5 online. Let's start our Matwork class. We're going to start just through some pedaling or marching through the feet. So soften through the knees, lift the sternum, and gently draw the shoulder blades down from the ears. You are going to start by lifting the arch from the mat. So if you are flat-footed and you've pressed down through that fascia of the foot, you want to think about lifting or doming your arches. Doming the arch from the mat just so that you can switch on and not transfer any impact from the foot to the knee to the hip. So if you're flat-footed, dome that arch. Think about switching on a little bit of the front of the shin and almost lifting the kneecap towards the hips. And you've switched on that lovely foot. From here, switch on a little bit of your transverse band and lift one heel from the mat. Keep the knee traveling forwards in line with the hip bone. Good, you're going to transfer the weight across slowly. So keep thinking about lifting the arches. As you start to lift the opposite heel off the mat and in the center you're in your calf raise, and then slowly start to transfer one heel down to the mat. Keep thinking about that lifted arch. Don't force that flat foot down to the ground. Start to lift, calf raise in the center, heel down. You can keep going through this motion. I want you to think about rolling along that nice lifted arch of the foot up to the ball of the foot on one side as you roll down and place the heel to the mat on the other. Knees and feet want to face the same direction as your hips. So don't let your ankle roll out to the side. Don't let your knee turn out to the side. Think about keeping this lovely upright posture. Sternum up, shoulders down. Good. Again, lifting up, calf raise in the center, heel down on one side. Don't flatten down and don't dump your weight down through a flat arch. If you do so, you'll transfer that impact through the knee and the hip, and that can be quite damaging. Good. One more. Good. Come back to the center. Now take your attention to your shoulders and your upper body. From here, flex your palms at your side. Keep that transverse band switched on. Take a nice deep breath in. You're going to shrug shoulders up towards the earlobes, and then on an exhale, softly glide down. Good, inhale up and down. Good, keep that nice floated sternum, lift up and down. And we're going to take this into a nice D shape next. Lift the shoulder blade up. Now squeeze the shoulder blades closed, and on the exhale as you glide down, feel that switch onto your trapezius. Inhale, lift up. Squeeze shoulder blades down, and as you exhale, glide the shoulder blades down to the waist. Good, inhale. Squeeze and exhale, glide down. Good. Now this little draw back is you thinking about the sternum staying floated and a small upper back extension. Then you glide down. Beautiful. Let's do 3 of these little D shapes, using the whole arm bone in the shoulder socket to make that pattern. Last one. Beautiful. From here, loosen through the upper body, have a little rest. We're going to go into a little hamstring stretch or a hamstring complex. I've taught this a few times before. I'm going to stay standing side on. My feet are hip width. I'm going to keep that sternum upright. Now I'm going to step forwards through one foot. From this positioning, keeping the feet and the knees facing the same direction as my hips, I'm going to start to lift my toes off of the foot, off of the mat of the front leg. From here, take a deep breath in. Start to push your hips back into a hip hinge. Think about a nice neutral spine. Don't lift your tailbone. As you start to push the bum back and down, the back knee will bend as you straighten out the front leg. Run your hands down that back leg. Take a nice deep breath in. Good. From this position, we're going to start to transfer forwards. Place the weight of the front foot down through those toes. Start to bend the front knee, straighten out that back knee. Good. Keep this nice hip hinge so that you start to stretch out down the back of your Achilles and your calf. Good. A nice deep breath in, and on the exhale, we transfer back. Exhale, start to bend the back knee, push the bum back and down, straighten out the front leg, lift the toes. Press the heel down into the mat. Hands can rest on that supporting thigh. A nice deep breath in. Good, transferring forwards, bend the front knee, place the toes down. Exhale, start to straighten out that back leg. You can lift your chin a little, especially if you feel like you're finding your lower back pressure is a little bit too intense for you. Take a deep breath in, we'll transfer back, exhale, bend that back knee, straighten out that front leg, lift the toes. The further back you take this buttocks and the further down you angle your tailbone, you're going to get a nice deep stretch on that front straight leg. Now take a deep breath in and out. I want you to keep your sternum upright, keep looking forwards. I want you to reach the opposite arm from the leg that's forwards. Good, take a deep breath in here, and on the exhale, start to rotate so your baby finger is reaching towards the outside of your baby toe on that front leg. Feel this front quadricep igniting and the glute. Have a little side stretch here. Then return back to center. Then you're going to take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, we'll transfer forwards for that last calf stretch. Think about that nice neutral spine. Again, you can lift your chest gently if you find your lower back is starting to get irritated. Push that back heel down for me. Have a nice deep breath in and out. Beautiful. Let's transfer sides. Shuffle back to the middle. Split the stance. Keep the knees and feet facing in the same direction as the hips. Remember, the sternum stays upright. We've got our T-zone on for a neutral spine. You're going to start to lift the toes of the front leg off the mat as you start to hip hinge. That's you folding at the belt line. Push the bum back and down as you straighten out the front leg and bend that back knee, running the hands down the thighs. Get a nice hamstring stretch. Keep this tailbone angled down. Don't let your pelvis tilt forwards or lift through that lumbar spine. Take a deep breath in, and then on the exhale, start to transition the toes down on the front leg, bending that front knee, straighten out the back leg, push the heel down. Again, think about your neutral spine. You can lift your chest a little bit if you need to. A nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, transfer back. Straighten out the front leg as you push the bum back and down. Bend that back knee, lift the toes of the front leg. A nice deep breath in here. Let's do that again. And on the exhale, we transition forwards. Good. Think about staying facing forwards through chest, knees, hips and toes. Get a deep breath in, and on the exhale, transfer back for that last hamstring stretch. Hamstring seat. The further back you take this buttocks, the deeper the stretch on that straight front leg will be. Good. The opposite arm, reach it forwards. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, start to reach across, coming into this side rotation. Reach your baby finger for the outside of that baby toe. Good. Inhale, come back to center. Shuffle forwards on the exhale, come to that last calf stretch. Push this back, heel to the ground. Good, a nice deep breath in and out. And let's transition to the center. Let's do a little bit of rolling. We'll do our short spine or stomach massage. Place your hands on your thighs. Feet hip width, shoulders back and down. Switching on your transverse band on your next exhale. Take a deep breath in through the lungs. Now drop the chin to the chest so you start to open up your cervical spine. Now as we exhale, we're going to sink our tailbone back and down. Sorry, I lost track of what I was saying. You're coming into a little bit of a hip hinge, and then you're going to bend the knees and come into your squat position. Now in your squat position, you're going to keep your chin tucked and almost look down between your heels. Take a deep breath in. You're going to push your hands into your thighs. Start to scoop your belly as you round your upper back and shoulders towards the ceiling. Think about widening the shoulders like you do in your hugger tree. Push your hands into the thighs, feet into the ground to switch on the legs, and start to roll up through the vertebrae of the spine all the way tall. Drop the shoulders, take your breath in. Chin to chest once more. Now you push the bum back and down, hip hinge, and then start to bend through the knees, coming into a squat. Remember, the chin wants to be placed on the chest. Look down between your heels for your breath in. Press your hands into your thighs. Exhale, scoop out the belly. Round the upper back, widening through the shoulders and the thoracic spine. Push your heels into the mat. Switch on the legs and roll vertebrae by vertebrae to the top. 3 more. Nice deep breath in. Chin to chest. Bum moves back and down first, bending the knees. Exhale. Good. Drop the chin all the way under. Exhale, push thighs, hands into thighs, round the upper back, scoop the belly and roll to the top. Deep breath in. Final 2. Bum back. Bend those knees. Chin to chest, remember? Exhale to roll down. Inhale at the bottom. Good. Exhale, scoop the belly, round the upper back, widen through the shoulders, hands into the thighs, feet into the mat. Belly scooped. Exhale, roll. Lovely. One more. Inhale at the top. Bum moves back. Bending through the knees. Exhale. Deep breath in with the chin is placed to the chest. Look at the heels. On this your last one. Exhale, scoop the belly, round the upper back, hands into thighs, feet into the mat. Start to round and roll, vertebrae by vertebrae to the top. Lift the chin. Beautiful. From here, we're moving straight down into 4-point kneeling. So come down to the mat, rolling down if you choose. If you'd like to stay upright, you can do this sequence against the wall. We're starting with our swimming. Come into the box. Make sure you align your hands underneath your shoulders, knees under the hip bones. Now we want to reduce any tension through the neck joint. So in this position, you can shrug your shoulders up. And as you exhale, think about gliding them down like you did in your warm-up. You also want to find that your serratus anterior is on, so press away from the mat. Squeeze through the armpit muscle and check with your finger in the dimple between your armpit and your chest that you've switched on that chicken wing, that's serratus anterior. We want that to support the shoulder girdle. We also now want to switch on pelvic floor first, then followed by the transverse band, just so that we're supporting the lumbar spine, the pelvis. Take a deep breath in. Our gentle lift of pelvic floor, the squeeze of front and back passage. Exhale to scoop those abdominals off the mat, draw them inside the front of the pelvis. Try to think about lengthening the tailbone down. Think about the armpit muscles staying on. From this positioning, we're going to go into swimming arms and legs. Keeping that T-zone working and our box in neutral, we're going to start to reach on out. Exhale, drawing a straight line in front and behind, opposite hand and foot. Squeeze your glute max as you lengthen your leg, draw your shoulder blade away from your ear, and gently float the hand and foot from the mat. It could just be a paper's width or an inch. Inhale, tap back down to the mat and slide back to the box. Now think about your armpit muscles staying on, your transverse band, keeping those abdominals flat. Exhale to reach on out, draw the shoulder blade down, squeeze the glute to lift the leg. It could just be your paper's width from the mat. Inhale, come back down and glide back on in. Try not to drop your chin into your chest. Look into the space in front of your fingertips and really think about my armpit muscle, my chest muscle staying on, my shoulder blade gliding down, my glute, my abdominals working to keep my lumbar spine from extending and tilting my pelvis. Good. Now for those of you that want a little bit more from the exercise, if you've already got the hand and foot floating from the mat, as you reach on out, keeping the hips within neutral, the spine, the lower back controlled by the T-zone, squeezing the glute and drawing the shoulder blade down to lift the hand and foot. As you come into this position, keep drawing the shoulder blade down on the opposite arm and now start to sweep outside of your box. It could just be 5 centimeters, it could be 1 centimeter. Coming into this diagonal sweep and then coming back to center line before coming back to the mat, bringing the foot and the hand down. Inhale. Reach on out, exhale, glide the shoulder blade down, squeeze the glute max. Keep your box floating over your mat, keep your shoulders gliding down. Keep that glute on as you sweep diagonally outside of your box with hand and foot. And then you come back to center line, inhale, come back to the mat. So from side on, I'll show you. I really want to work hard to keep my body from swaying with my hand and foot as I reach on out. And from this position, you can see I just reach beyond my box line. Then as I come back to center, I make sure I haven't shifted outside of my box with my knees or my supporting wrist. And I transition back to the mat. So this could be a little variation for you to test. Can I keep my hip bones level? I don't want this hip lifting up with that leg as it externally reaches outside of my box. Equally, I don't want to lose that nice armpit and chest connection at the front either. Let's make this one more on each side for your swimming arm and leg, adding a little cross variation, reaching outside of the box, just outside of the box, into that diagonal sweep. This is your last one. Good, come back to the mat. You can drop your glutes back towards your heels, reach your fingertips forwards for a nice lat stretch. You can come down onto bent forearms. Whatever you do, I'd like you to release the head to the mat, relaxing the neck, and have a deep breath in and out. At this point, your pelvic floor and your abdominals are off, and you are resting. Beautiful. Let's find a little bit more of that chest connection. Come back to the mat. Now we're going to look at our press-ups. If you did my magic circle workout last week, the upper body one, and I utilised the circle to find that nice positioning where I utilised my chest and my arm muscles to push myself back on up, you can add the circle in here if it helps you with that connection. We're going to start with level 1, and I'll talk you through 2 and 3. Level 1, we begin back in the box position. Now remember, draw the shoulder blades down. Think about squeezing that armpit muscle on to switch serratus anterior and chest muscle on here. Take your hands as wide as your mat for level 1. Switch on through pelvic floor and T-zone. Then inhale, nose comes down between the hands. Exhale, abdominals lift. Push the arms away from the mat. Good, lift the chest back to the box, shoulders stay down, don't shrug up to your earlobes. Inhale, nose down, exhale, push off. Use that tummy to push your way off the mat. That's your level 1 for 10 reps. Level 2 for 10 reps. We walk the hands 1 or 2 paces in front, and we now bring the chest in between the hands. For this positioning, shoulder blades equally want to draw down, squeeze the armpit muscle on. You inhale your chest down between your hands. Exhale, push off strong, extend the arms. Think about the tummy, not lifting the hips back and up. Keep the hips drawn down in that nice alignment from knee, hip and shoulder. Inhale, chest down. Exhale, push off strong. The tummy works extra hard in this position. Shoulders extra hard as we're loading more and more through the chest muscles. If you'd like your level 3 push-up, your hands could go 1, 2 or 3 paces in front, still as wide as your mat. And now as you realign to bring the chest in between the arms, head in front, shoulders draw down, tuck the toes under and extend one leg at a time from the mat, lifting the knees. Push into the ball of the foot. We're going to inhale the chest down, bending at the arms. Exhale, push off strong. Extend the arms, lift the tummy from the mat. Shoulders down. Inhale and exhale. Good, inhale down. And exhale, push off. If you can't do your level 3, come back to your level 2. Don't lift the buttocks up, keep drawing down as the knees come back to the mat. You could come back to your level 2, or you could walk your hands back in line with your shoulders as wide as your mat, bringing the nose down between the hands for level 1. Complete your 10 push-ups, and then come back to your child's pose. You can roll your wrists, scrunch up your fingers, create a fist, and have a little break. Good. Remember, don't struggle through your levels. Complete your 10, or maybe it could be your 5 or your 6. If you feel like you can just work 6 effective press-ups, utilizing the T-zone, that's pelvic floor, as well as abdominals, and the shoulders and chest. Good. Have a little break. We're moving on to the tummy in prone, just to really connect to the back. Come down fully. We're going to start with our stop signs. So you've already created a nice connection to the front of the body. Now let's connect to the back of the upper back too. We want to have the hands at face height, elbows bent. Try and keep the elbows, the forearms, the fingers on the mat. You can turn your heels out for a little rest. Drop your forehead to look into the mat. Rest your nose down, or look down the tip of your nose into your mat here. Think about keeping that nice long neck, shoulders softly glided down. Switching onto the T-zone, using the mat for feedback, we're going to inhale, gently lift the pelvic floor. Now as you exhale to draw the tummy off the mat, the abdominals are lifting inside the front of the pelvis. For those of you that need a little bit of an assist in this position, remember the tailbone softly glides down the seam of your buttocks towards your heels. You're not lifting yourself off the mat. You're not trying to draw your bum under and squeeze your glutes. It's just a gentle draw down of the tailbone, switching on the transverse band. From this position, take your deep breath in, prepare, and on the exhale, glide the shoulder blades down your back, drawing into the waistline beneath the rib cage. Elbows glide down to that waist, hands down the mat. Inhale, hands come to face height. Shoulder blades, exhale, glide down your back. Draw them into that waistline between your rib and your hip where there are no bones. Elbows glide down to the waist, hands down the mat. Keep looking down the tip of your nose for me, or rest the forehead down. Making sure that this movement is the shoulder blade gliding down, and you feel that nice connection to your mid-back. Good. You want to make sure the T-zone is staying switched on, particularly in that inhale as the hands come back to face height. Don't squeeze your bum, keep the glutes off, and use that back. Think about the shoulder blade gliding down on the exhale into the waistline. Feel the V shape occur, running into that nice center of your back, and inhale, hands to face height. Good. Now we're going to do 2 more and make this our last one. Beautiful. Have a little break, we'll move into swan prep next. Keep the heels turned down, I'll come back to the lower body in a moment. You can switch on a little bit more of that T-zone if you need, and you might need to widen your arms an extra centimeter or 2 from your chest. Shoulder blades are not shrugged up into your earlobes. Look down the tip of your nose and switch on. Inhale, pelvic floor, exhale, T-zone. Glutes are off, don't squeeze your butt. Now start by inhaling and gently rolling a lovely glass marble towards the edge of your mat using the tip of your nose. As your forehead peels off, keep looking down the tip. Don't lift your eye line. On the exhale, as we glide the shoulder blades down the back, drawing into the waistline, a little bit deeper than the stop signs, we want to just allow the vertebrae drawing down through the shoulder blades to lift the chest from the mat. It might be just your collarbone that peels off. Keeping the T-zone lifted, inhale, the chest comes back down, followed by the chin, the nose, the forehead. Look down the tip of your nose into your mat, touch your nose back on your marble. Exhale, roll that marble under your chin, round open the back of your neck. You can have a little pressure through your arms and palms. Push down as you release your forehead or the hairline to the mat to have a big neck stretch. Keeping the T-zone working, we can start again. Inhale, roll the nose forwards, touching on that marble and rolling it towards the edge of the mat line. Don't lift your eye line, keep looking down the tip of that nose, please. As you exhale to glide the shoulder blades down your back deeper into that waistline, we're gently allowing the collarbone to peel off the mat, possibly the first or second rib. Good. Keep that T-zone working. Inhale, that chest comes back down slowly. Try not to move too quickly. You want to feel that this motion is you bringing the chest down softly. Touch your nose back on your glass marble. Exhale, roll it under your chin. Really round open the back of your neck. And if that means you placing that forehead or hairline down, have a nice stretch here. Good. Again, inhale, roll the nose forwards. Good. Exhale, prepare to draw the shoulder blades down your back. Peeling the chest off gently. Eye line stays looking down the tip of your nose. Good. Keeping the abdominals on. Inhale, chest down slow as you can go. Touch your nose back on that glass marble. Exhale. Let's do 1 more here. Really thinking about the shoulder blade engagement, drawing down your back, peeling the chest off. The abdominals staying flat, lifted from the mat. Good. All the way down the chest comes. Inhale, touch the nose back on the marble. 1 last time, exhale, roll it underneath the chin. Open up the back of the neck. Have a lovely neck stretch here. And then relax into the mat for a small break. Good. Fold over the arms, rest the forehead on the back of your palms. Now you don't want to shrug shoulders up, keep that nice engagement at the upper back. Turn the heels back in straight. Let's do our freestyle straight leg kicking. We're going to switch back onto the T-zone. Now for this one, some of you may want an extra notch on the belt, depending on your lumbar extensor activity. And if you feel like you need a little bit more support in this posterior engagement of your glutes, your hammies, your calves. From this point, switch on. Inhale, pelvic floor. Exhale, T-zone. You want to make sure that your next breath in As you inflate through the lungs, you prepare to draw your rib cage into the mat on the exhale, shoulders from the ears. Squeeze your glutes and lengthen your legs from the hip bone. See if you can float your shins, maybe your knees from the mat. Good, take a deep breath in. Let's prepare to kick. 3 kicks for a breath out, 3 kicks for a breath in. Kick, 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 kick. Now think about the engagement. We want T-zone on, ribs into the mat. We want the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves to really engage as we squeeze the glute to lift the leg. Breathing, 3 kicks for a breath out, 3 kicks for a breath in. If you need to at any point, the legs can come down. You can have a little rest, reset the T-zone, making sure ribs in. Extension is from the hip joint, squeezing those glutes. Good. Keep breathing. You can tell here that I'm really, really engaging. I'm utilizing my T-zone, and that's what allows me to speak to you as I do this. Good, nice deep breath in and out. Excellent, let's make one last round. 3 kicks for a breath out, 3 kicks for a breath in. Kick, kick, kick. Kick, kick, kick. Legs come back down to the mat, roll the heels out, have a small break. That's T-zone and the pelvic floor resting. Good, let's undo these arms, push the chest off the mat. Come into our plank 1. Now in this, I'm going to go through plank 1, plank 2, plank 3 for those of you that want to work, and looking at leg pull prone. Now this exercise is not for everyone, so if you want to come back to the mat anytime, reset and have a break, 10 breaths, before you repeat either your plank 1, 2 or 3, you can do that rather than do your leg pull prone. If you've had enough of your plank, come back to the mat and repeat your stop signs. Make sure you set yourself up. You want your upper back, your chest, your armpit muscle to really be switched on in your plank 1 so that you get a nice sensation of being supported. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose. Good, so draw the elbow just behind the front section of the shoulder. Just. From this point, push down through your forearms, draw your shoulder blades from your ears. Think about switching on. Sorry, that's stop sign activation. Heels want to turn back in straight. We're going to turn on the pelvic floor first. Inhale, lift the pelvic floor. Good. Now on the exhale, as we lift the abdominals off the mat inside the front of the pelvis, look for that little pocket of air to appear beneath both hip bones in the mat. And breathe in and out. Don't forget to draw the shoulder blades down for stop signs. Count your 10 breaths here. For your plank 2, take a deep breath in. On the exhale, really think about the engagement of the abdominals a little bit more, lifted from the mat. Those 2 pockets of air will expand and push the hips off the mat. Now you want to push through the forearms, draw the shoulder blades down, and lift the pelvis roughly in line with the shoulders. It can be quite hard to gauge this. If your hips are too high, you'll feel that your shoulder is behind your elbow, and you need to realign that here. If you're here and you're sagging through your lower back, think about inhale into the ribs and exhale, lift the tummy from the mat, drawing the abdominals inside the pelvis. Good, you could count your 10 breaths here. Shoulder blades down, keep looking at your fingers. You can tuck your toes under on both feet. This could be your 8-point plank. If you want to move on to plank 3, take a deep breath in. On the exhale, extend one leg from the mat, pushing into the front of the foot. Good, take a deep breath in and exhale, lift the second knee from the mat. Keep the hips in line with the shoulders, push off the forearms. For those of you that want a challenge, you could stay here and breathe, or pushing down into the right ball of your foot, shoulder blades down. Exhale, lift the left foot from the mat, squeezing your glute max. Inhale, place the foot down, push it into the mat through the ball of the foot. Exhale, squeeze the glute max on the right leg, lift the right foot from the mat. Inhale and exhale. Notice that the T-zone is supporting a neutral spine. I'm not lifting my hips. I really want hip extension, squeeze glute. Push into the opposite foot to lift the toes, pressing up through the heel off the mat. You could go for 4, 5, 6 leg pull prones. You could even come back to your 2 with your knees on the mat if you need to. Once you've had enough of your leg pull prone, you want to come down just as you've come up. Knees come back to the mat one at a time. Stay switched on. Take a deep breath in and out. On your next exhale, gently sink your hips down slowly. Now push off the forearms, draw the shoulder blades down, untuck the toes. Good, from this position, staying switched on, you slowly melt down, chest onto the mat, widen through the elbows, and release down for a break. Good, have a little rest before we move on. Leg pull prone is one of the exercises that I love, but I often don't teach because people go, oh, I can do that. And then it's a lot of pressure on their lower back because they don't actually anticipate that getting the leg off the mat is quite hard work. So as an alternative to that, I'm going to teach you one leg kick. One leg kick is performed in a plank one position. Now this is just as testy. It's not an easy exercise. Come back to your level one plank, draw your shoulder blades down. Good, from this positioning, heels are in line with the buttocks. We're going to switch on to the T-zone, not forgetting that we want that lovely push off of the forearm, the squeeze of the armpit muscle and the chest on. Shoulder blades down in the stop sign. Beautiful. Now you want to think about your freestyle leg and your plank one meshing together. You want to take a nice deep breath in, push down through the front of your right foot. As you engage this right foot, you'll switch on your quad and a small amount of your glute. On the opposite leg, the left leg, we're going to squeeze our left glute max. Exhale, float the left foot, the shin, maybe the knee from the mat. Good, inhale, place it down, press it into the mat, switching on the quadricep and the glute on that left side now. Exhale, squeeze your right glute, lift your right leg. Inhale down. Good, exhale. And inhale. We're really utilizing the front foot connection, the quadricep on one side to push into the mat to squeeze the glute max on the other side, just like you would do in your leg pull prone at the front ball of the foot. Now you could do this for 10 reps, or you can make it a little bit more challenging by adding a flexed foot and a heel squeeze to your buttocks. Shoulder blades down, stay switched on. Push your right front of your foot into the mat, engage that right quadricep. Take a deep exhale, squeeze your left buttocks. Now keeping your knee, possibly your shin floating from the mat, keep drawing the shoulder blades down. Flex your foot and squeeze your heel to your buttocks. Good, lengthen out the leg, point out through the front of the foot. Inhale, place it down. Woo. Draw the shoulder blades down, push off the forearms, left foot into the mat. Good, on the next exhale, squeeze the right buttocks. Lift the right shin, maybe the knee from the mat. Flex the foot. Exhale, drive the heel towards the buttocks. It's a really strong knee extension. Inhale, lengthen, point out through the front of the foot, place it down. You could try this, going for 5 reps on each side, or you could come back to just the extension. The leg knee flexion is quite a lot of work, and it may promote a little bit too much lower back tension, in which case, come back to just the leg extension, your modified one leg kick. Good. Let's make this one more on each side. So that could be your alternative for leg pull prone. Quite accessible. Once you've done your last one here, melt the chest down, bending at the elbows, and come back down to the mat to rest. Bring the hands to chest height. Push yourself off, round your upper back. Pull your glutes back towards your heels, reaching your arms forwards to come into this nice rounded child's pose. One last time. Drop the forehead to the mat and have a little rest. You can have a little wiggle side to side. Have a little active prayer stretch where you're actively reaching your fingers from your buttocks and your buttocks to your heels. Or you could just soften through the arms and rest the fingers by your head. Have a little break, whatever you do, and have a nice rounded back positioning. Good. Let's come to 4-point kneeling once more. Now we'll just do a little bit of a cat and cow stretch, but it's going to be fairly dynamic. I want you to think about placing your buttocks onto a glass window. Pressing the glutes onto the glass window here, and I want you to think about them covered in some paint. In your box position, you're going to be circling your pelvis and allowing the circling motion to transfer through the spine itself. So we know that we have lumbar spine curves and that they really intersect and talk to the pelvis, the neck, the shoulders. So let's allow them to have a little free-flowing conversation. Now, in order to keep this safe, draw the shoulder blades down, push off the forearm, squeeze the armpit muscle into the armpit. Good. Switch on the T-zone, inhale pelvic floor, exhale flattening those abdominals from hip bone to hip bone. Keep the neck nice and loose for me. Now think about circling your buttocks, drawing a circle with your glutes on that window, as if you're trying to do a nice large circle of paint on that clean window. Now as you circle that pelvis, you're going to allow it to talk to the lumbar spine. You'll find that as you drop your buttocks to draw that bottom ring of the circle, you naturally come into a nice little rounded extension. And as you lift the buttocks to draw the top half of the circle, you naturally come into lumbar extension. Just allow that to be nice and soft. Keep the T-zone working so that you're not really exacerbating the lumbar spine arch too much. You're just allowing it to be free-flowing. Allow it to move up the spine. You might find that the shoulders are also starting to have a little wiggle. You're breathing in and out nice and softly. And if you want, allow the head to transfer that movement any way it chooses through that cervical spine too. Good, just be free-flowing. Now, if you don't like this movement, come back to child's pose. We're going to pause in the middle and try and reverse to draw the circle anti-clockwise now. See what happens, start with a nice small circle and then allow it to move a little bit more into the lumbar spine. Just a small amount of lumbar extension and flexion. Allow it to wiggle through the shoulders, possibly the head, the neck, the cervical spine having a small amount of free-flowing movement. In a moment, we're going to come back to center and we're going to come back to that neutral spine and move into lying on our backs. Come back to the center, take a deep breath in and out. Transfer by bringing one knee forwards and coming down to the side of the buttocks. Swing both feet into that forwards position with bent knees. Run the hands underneath those thighs. Take a deep breath in for me. Switch on the pelvic floor with a lift. And on the exhale, flatten the abdominals from hip bone to hip bone. Good. Stay upright. Think about lifting through the spine a little bit more. We're going to go through our roll down to the count of 10. Take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, tuck the tailbone. Good. Start to think about sinking the ribs to the hips. Exhale as you flatten the tummy. Start to roll down through the lumbar spine. Your hands could remain underneath your thighs, or they could now transition to the side of your hips as you gently roll and sink down for 4. You could transfer down onto your forearms with bent elbows. 6. You could come to the shoulder blades. 8. You could rest the shoulders down and rest the head down. 10. And now realign the heels to the buttocks. Good. In this position, stay switched on if possible. We're going to be looking at arm prep first. Float the arms directly over the chest, shoulder blades from the ears. If you need to, I'd like you to have a small tuck of chin to chest to lengthen the back of your neck. Take a deep breath in and on the exhale, think about that lumbar spine connection. Are you in neutral? If you're in neutral, I'd like you to continue, exhale into your arm prep. Ribs are sinking down towards the hips, shoulders from your ears. Good. Inhale, hands over chest. Now as you exhale to reach overhead, sinking the ribs towards the hips, check that there's no movement through your pelvis or your knees or your feet. In fact, the abdominals are flattening and you're really getting a good connection on your obliques from rib to hip as you come into that nice extension of arms overhead. You can make the movement larger, reaching overhead. Inhale, hands over chest, and then down towards hips. Really gentle arm prep to really think about switching on the T-zone a little bit more, utilizing the obliques in neutral spine. Beautiful. Lovely. Let's add a little bit of circumduction through the shoulder if you'd like. As you reach the arms over the chest, exhale, reach overhead, sink the ribs in and down, flattening through the tummy. The arms could sweep wide and draw some lovely circles down towards the hip bones. Inhale, hands over chest. Exhale, reach overhead, ribs sink in and down, shoulders from the ears. Abdominals are flattening, we're maintaining our neutral spine as we sweep the hands to the hip bones. Inhale, hands over chest. Good. Let's make this our last one. Beautiful. Rest the hands by your sides. Bring your heels a little bit closer to your buttocks. Let's do a little bit of pelvic curl. We can add in that arm prep motion if you'd like, so you go into traction, but only if the shoulder feels comfortable. Take a deep breath in. Start to tuck switch on the T-zone first. Inhale, lift pelvic floor. Exhale, transverse band on. Starting within neutral spine, take a deep breath in. Exhale, start to tilt the pelvis back. The lumbar spine just connecting to the mat. Now I'd like you to squeeze your glute max first. You've been using them in your mat work already, so you should find that your glutes are firing. Now press into your heels. Start to switch on those hamstrings as you roll the pelvis from the mat. Now take this movement really slowly. Lift the pelvis, exhale. Start to push through the heels a little bit deeper as you lift the mid back, rolling onto the shoulders. Still have that light tuck of chin to chest, so you've lengthened the back of your neck. Take a nice soft breath in at the top. Checking glutes and hammies are on. Ribs are softly down, so the obliques are still working from rib to hip. Exhale, we bring the ribs down first, rolling back down through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Now I want you to move nice and slowly through this. It's a nice slow fatigue of those glute max and hamstrings. A nice soft breath in at the bottom as you come back to neutral. Start to tilt the pelvis back. Exhale, squeezing glute max first. Turn them on and then press into the heels. Exhale, drive through the hamstrings to lift the pelvis. Roll through the lower back, the mid back. At the top, inhale. Check your knees, don't turn out to the side. You haven't lost the inside connection at the sole of your foot. And then exhale, come down. All the way to the mat through each vertebrae slowly. Good, place the pelvis down, inhale, come back to neutral. Let's add that traction arm if you want to. Come up into pelvic curl slowly. Utilize your glute max activation first, followed by your hamstring connection. Rolling up through each vertebrae. At the top, inhale, you can float the hands over your chest and reach overhead. Shoulder blades will draw down from the earlobes. Exhale, roll down each vertebrae one at a time. Come down slowly, transitioning each vertebrae to the mat and getting a nice long stretch. Good, inhale, float back to neutral. Sweep the arms towards the hip bones. Good, let's do that again. Exhale, coming up through glute max first and hamstring connection. Pushing off the mat through the heels. At the top, take a deep inhale, float the hands over the chest. Exhale, reach overhead, sink the ribs down towards the hips to keep the upper back from arching. And then exhale, slowly roll down each vertebrae one at a time, coming back to the mat. Good, inhale. Good. If you'd like, you can now sweep arm circles as you slowly roll down. Good, you're gonna roll on up, exhale. At the top of pelvic curl, inhale, hands over chest, reach overhead. And as you exhale, start to draw your angel wings. Sweep the arms down towards the hip bones slowly as each vertebrae transitions to the mat. Hands to the hip bones. Inhale, neutral. Let's do one more of those. Tilt the pelvis back. Squeezing the glutes. Glute max, hamstring activation. As you peel the pelvis off and roll to the top. Inhale. Reach overhead. Exhale, roll down. Each vertebrae slowly as the hands reach towards the hip bones, sweeping those wide circles. Pelvis back down on the mat, hands by your sides. Inhale, come to neutral. Beautiful. From this positioning, we're going to go through our pendulum. So for those of you that want to, you can stay feet on the ground. And in fact, I'm going to start this position. Now, I would like you to bring your toes, your heels, your knees, your inner thighs together. From this position, you should still have neutral spine. Those of you that want to start in double leg tabletop, you can. I'm going to turn my palms to face up towards the ceiling, having some external rotation from the shoulder. Arms are relaxed, not high up and across. Slightly down, relaxed forearms. Draw the shoulder blades from the ears. Drop the chin to the chest, the lengthen the neck, and switch on that T-zone. Keeping the toes, the heels, the knees, the thighs together, We're going to inhale as both legs roll over one side of the body. Now we want to keep the chest, the eye line aligned to the ceiling, shoulders on the mat. Squeeze through the inner thighs, exhale, scoop through T-zone. Legs come back to center. Good. Other way, inhale, legs over one side of the body. Try not to turn the head. Try to keep the chest, the shoulders aligned to the ceiling. Squeeze the inner thighs, exhale, scoop out through T-zone, legs to center. Good, stay on the mat if you'd like. Those of you that are working in double leg tabletop, make sure that as you return the legs to center, you're not swinging the knees over towards your armpit. That will cause you to slowly walk down your mat by the end of the exercise. The knees want to stay aligned over the hips in tabletop. So we're really conditioning the obliques to have that rotation, and we're initiating a nice connection into those adductors to support that pelvic floor connection. You can add in your single leg extension if you'd like into this exercise. We inhale the legs over, squeeze the knees together, lengthen the top leg from knee to toe. As you exhale, sweep the toes along the ceiling to come back to center. Inhale to tabletop, inhale the legs over. The top leg extends, squeeze the knees together from knee to toe. Exhale, sweep. Come back to tabletop or feet down in the center. Inhale and exhale. Good. Inhale and exhale. Now, for those of you that do not want to continue on, come back to feet on the ground. For those of you that want to try double leg extension, and I don't usually teach this, but I'd like you to have a little go, you can add this into your pendulum. You could you could inhale the legs over one side of the body. Straighten the legs by squeezing the knees and toes together. Exhale, slowly sweep the legs to center, scooping out the T-zone. Now in this double leg extension, you come back to tabletop in the middle. You want to make sure the shoulders don't lift from the mat. Sweep the legs. Extend by squeezing knees and toes together. Exhale, scoop out through T-zone, keeping the shoulders down. You might have to limit your rotation, so you might stop before you lose the shoulder connection to the mat. Now the legs don't have to be perfectly straight. They also don't have to be perfectly aligned over your hip joint. It does make it more challenging the further from the hips they are in this position, but it might be a little bit more maintainable on your hip flexors. One more each side. Inhale the legs over. You could go for single leg or double leg extension, squeezing the knees together. Exhale, scoop out T-zone, legs to center. One more, inhale the legs over. Extension could be single leg or double leg. Exhale to center. Inhale to tabletop. Feet down one at a time on knees to chest and have a little rest. Beautiful. Good. From this position, we're going to do our oblique curl. We're going to start with feet on the ground, and you can stay feet on the ground throughout if you choose. Repart the feet, realign your knees to your hip bones. Now you're going to bring your hands behind your head, and you want to think about lengthening the back of your neck. Light tap of chin to chest, yes, but I want you to lengthen the neck and lift, place the weight of your skull in your hands, floating the head from the mat. Switch on the T-zone for me. Make sure that you've thought about your neutral spine. Now we're going to start exhale to curl. We're going to sink the ribs towards the hips, scoop out the tummy to peel the upper body from the mat. Keeping that light tap of chin to chest, the length in the back of your neck. Exhale to rotate your armpit across to the opposite hip bone. Good. Inhale, unrotate and lower down, changing sides. Keep that float of the head gently from the mat, the length in the back of the neck. Exhale to curl, sink the ribs towards the hips, scooping out the tummy to lift the upper body. Exhale to rotate, armpit to the opposite hip bone. Inhale to unrotate and lower. Good, keep it going. Exhale and rotate. Now the knees, the hips are not moving, so don't think about the lower body moving from the mat here. Beautiful. I want you to think about drawing straight, diagonal angle straight from your armpit to your hip bone. So if you was to lengthen the arm, the inside arm, towards that outside hip joint, it would have a perfect connection, a perfect direction diagonally across that body. Try it for me on here. Exhale to curl, sink the ribs towards the hips to scoop the abdominals. Exhale to rotate, arm to the opposite hip bone. Lengthen that inside arm and reach it to the outside thigh. Good. Inhale, rotate to center, replace the arm, and come down. For those of you that want to add single leg tabletop, you can add that in here. Float one foot from the mat, knee above your hip, keep that neutral spine. Continue, exhale to curl, sink the ribs towards the hips to scoop the tummy. Now as you exhale to rotate across, I want you to not move the knee towards the chest. You can still test, lengthening the arms, reaching to the side of the thigh. Inhale to center, replace the arm and come back down. Keep it on this one side. Ooh, itchy nose for 4. Exhale, rotate, reach. Good. Come back to center. Beautiful. So we're really thinking about that rotation from armpit to hip bone, getting a really lovely internal rotation and a connection of our internal obliques. Once you've done 4 on one side, you can replace tabletop on the other side, still have an itchy nose, and continue on. You might want to take a little rest in between sides, particularly if you feel a little bit fatigued or you think you've lost the T-zone. You can still add that nice arm extension, a nice prep for our saw, which is coming up shortly. Beautiful. Once we've done 4 in single leg, some of you may choose to do 4 in double leg tabletop. Knees together or knees apart to make it more challenging. Now your knees do not come towards your face, they stay aligned in tabletop over your hips. Exhale to curl, sink the ribs towards the hip bones. Exhale to rotate. You could reach the arm in preparation for saw. Replace the hand, inhale, head down. Exhale to curl and rotate. Good, inhale and down. Try for 4 on each side. If you're too fatigued, come back to the mat and have a rest. You don't have to continue on, particularly if it's fatigued, your pelvic floor is off, you're stressing now the core environment, you're creating more pressure, which is the complete opposite of what we would not want to do in this mat class. Once you've done 4 on each side, knees can come to chest, have a little break, releasing the lower back, or the feet could be down one at a time. This nose is very itchy. Good. Once we've had a little break, we're going to come into a nice neuro stretch. So feet are going to come to the mat. We're going to lengthen both legs. If you find that you want to place something under your lower back, such as a pillow or a towel, you can do so in this position. We're now also going to reach the arms directly overhead. Now the shoulders are not shrugged up into the earlobes. Try to think about releasing them. Try to think about now releasing the body and having a little break here. I'd like you to switch on a small amount of T-zone, and if it helps you, you might want to think about lengthening your tailbone down, just to bring your pelvis more into a neutral position. As you lengthen the tailbone down, that's not you tilting and compressing the lower back, like I've just done here. It's more of a gentle draw down, so that the hip bones and the pubic bone are a little bit more parallel. Good, from this position, inhale a gentle lift of pelvic floor. Exhale, I want you to just switch on a small amount of your transverse pelvic. Good. Now your right arm and your left leg are connected. They are connected by ropes. You're on your traction, that medieval torture device. And I want you to think about someone now stretching your right arm and your left leg away from one another. So on an exhale, I'd like you to lengthen the right arm and the left leg. Try and reach through the front of your foot and your toe. Try to reach through the front of your palm and your fingers. And then as you inhale, they're going to shorten and come back towards center. Keep it on this one side for 3 more. On an exhale, reach your right arm, your left leg away from one another. Good, as if they were being pulled from the center by ropes. Inhale to center. They shorten and recoil. Good, exhale, reach. And inhale, they shorten and recoil back in. Last one, exhale. and inhale. Good, let's take it to the other side. Left arm, right leg. On an exhale, someone is pulling your right leg and your left arm from one another. As you inhale, they're going to recoil back to the center, like a spring. Exhale, reach, right leg, left arm. Inhale, they shrink back to the center. Good, let's do that 2 more times. Reach, and inhale. Last one, get that nice stretch, and then let them shrink back in. Inhale. Lovely. Let's bring the arms back down by your side of your hips. So slide your feet back into that bending position. One last exercise here. We're going to go through our toe taps. Those of you that would like, you can do this in single or double leg tabletop. I don't mind which you do. If you're starting in single leg tabletop, switch on the T-zone, shoulders from the ears and float 1 foot from the mat, knee aligned over your hip bone. You could be starting here. Exhale to tap the toe to the mat and inhale to float knee over hip. If you're starting on one side, single leg, I want you to really think about your ribs drawing towards your hips as you exhale to flatten the toe towards the mat, and then inhale knee over hip. Think about the tummy flattening to support this leg as it drops to the mat, and inhale. 10 on one side before 10 on the other leg. If you're working in double leg tabletop, you want your safe spine positioning, knees aligned over the hip bones. Keeping one leg in tabletop, you can exhale to tap the toe and inhale to float knee over hip. Exhale and inhale. Equally, the ribs draw towards the hips, the abdominals are flattening as you tap the toe towards the mat, and inhale. Shoulders don't lift towards the earlobes. You want to think about that light tap of chin to chest to lengthen your neck. Place your hands by your sides or on your hips. Good. Now for those of you that want a little bit more, you could lift your upper body from the mat in that nice ab curl position. Your hands could go behind your head, elbows wide, chest open. Light tap of chin to chest, float your head from the mat. As you exhale to curl, you're going to sink your ribs towards the hips, scoop out the tummy, keep the chest lifted. Exhale, tap the toe, and inhale to float. Exhale, and inhale. Good. Beautiful. Equally, if you feel like you could support yourself without your hands behind your head, you can now reach your hands past your hips. Tap the toe, and inhale. Good. Exhale, and inhale. Really draw the ribs down towards the hips and flatten the tummy. Good. Beautiful. Tap further from your buttocks, make it more challenging. Last one each side. Come back to the mat with the upper body first. Feet down one at a time and have a rest. Lovely. Squeeze your inner thighs, roll onto your side, push yourself up to seated. Let's come into saw. So for saw, you might want to lift your buttocks a little bit from the mat if you find your hip flexors tend to cramp easily. So you can pop a little yoga block or a pillow or a towel under your butt cheeks, and that will lift your hips a little bit higher than your knees, and that might help you to be a bit supported. Now for saw itself, there are a couple of elements I want you to think about. We're going to start with a forward fold. So a forward fold or a spine stretch. We're going to straighten out the legs to begin with and bring the knees and the feet together. Remember, you want to stay as upright as you can, and you want to think about buttocks and heels staying on the mat, almost push them down. Now you want to switch on, so we inhale, lift pelvic floor, exhale, flatten the tummy from hip bone to hip bone. I'm going to float my hands directly over my shins, but some of you may prefer to bring your hands into that ab curl 1 position. If you are in this position, draw your chin to your chest and lengthen the back of the neck once more. From a deep breath in, we're going to dive and reach on the exhale. On an exhale, keeping the feet pressed down through the heels, the sit bones on the mat. Exhale, scoop the tummy, dive and reach the ribs over the hip bones, dive and reach the fingers and the forehead and crown over the toes. Exhale. Inhale, slowly start to lift the vertebrae upright, stacking tall onto the sit bones. Good, let's do that again. Some of you that may choose this positioning, chin stays to chest, Exhale, scoot the tummy, dive and reach the ribs over the hips. Exhale, reach the crown of the head over the toes, pressing the heels of the sit bones down. Inhale. Lift yourself upright. Keep the length in the back of your neck if you have this ab curl 1 positioning. Exhale, scoot the tummy, reach the ribs over the hip bones. Exhale, crown of the head over the toes. Good, inhale, lengthen the spine 1 vertebrae at a time, tall. Let's do that 2 more times. Exhale. Good, and inhale. Last time for me, please. Exhale, dive and reach. And inhale, slowly come upright. Beautiful. So you should start to feel a little bit of a lengthening of your hamstrings as well as a nice lengthening of the lower back. Now in that position, we have a nice rounded back position. Now we don't necessarily have that position in sore. In fact, I want you to think about coming away from rounded back. So to add on to this stretch, we're going to go into a side stretch. So we're going to come into this positioning, 1 leg straight, or you could have a bent knee if it takes pressure off your hamstrings and your pelvis, and 1 bent knee. Now the inside sole of our foot is pressed on the inside of our thigh. It's just resting there. You want to try and lift yourself upright and keep your sit bones on the mat equally balanced as possible. I flex my foot because my hamstring strain is not perfectly 100% healed, and this helps me lengthen my calf and take a little pressure off of my hamstring. You can have that little trick if you want to. Lift yourself upright. Again, switch on the T-zone to support you. Now we're going to go into a side stretch first and then possibly spiral stretch, but only if it feels good with the back. Now place 1 hand, the same side, straight leg hand onto your shin or your calf, whatever you can of that front leg. When you've lifted yourself upright and taken your breath in, I want you to take this outside arm, the same as the bent knee, and reach it up over the shoulder. Shoulder from the ear. Now we're going to exhale, reach up, body over the straight leg, coming into a nice opening of rib to hip on 1 side. Draw the shoulder blade down and come into this nice side stretch. Good. You should start to feel that you've lengthened your hamstring on 1 side by adding this added weight load, reaching over that straight leg. Inhale, bring yourself upright. Let's do that 2 more times. On the exhale, dive and reach over. Good. Inhale, lift upright. Good. Exhale, reach over the straight leg. Opening up rib to hip on 1 side, lateral flexion, side to side movement. Good. Inhale, slowly come upright. Good. Now you can repeat that for a few more reps if you'd like. If you want to add some rotation, this makes the stretch bigger, but it might not be right for your lower back, so please check in with how you feel. You're going to go from this positioning with the T-zone on. Instead of diving and reaching over the body into this sideways lateral flexion, we're actually now going to rotate the chest away from the straight leg. Now I'm looking directly over the pathway of my bent knee. I'm keeping this nice external rotation of my chest. I'm going to use my hand to press into my thigh or into my knee to get a nice deep stretch. Take a deep breath in. Exhale now. Keep that external rotation of the chest and reach over the side of that straight leg. Good. This is a much larger stretch and it incorporates the lower back as well as the side and the hamstring of the straight leg. Inhale, bring yourself upright. Keep that external rotation. Pushing your hand into the side of your knee or your thigh will make this a bigger. You're using passive motion for this strength of the arm. Keep the chest rotated out, and on the exhale, reach over, pushing this knee down to the mat. Good, shoulder from the ear. Inhale to center. 1 more, keep that external rotation. As you exhale to dive and reach over, push your hand into that bent knee and get a nice side stretch. Breathe in and out nice and deeply here and hold that stretch just for a breath or 2. Feel that you've lengthened your side, your lower back, your hamstring on your straight leg. And then inhale, slowly come upright, undo the rotation, place the arm down, let's change sides. So if that felt okay for you, you can have the rotation. If not, come back to just the straight lateral flexion, bending side to side. Let's straighten out the leg, place the sole on the inside of the thigh. Again, I've got a little flex foot. I like to keep it balanced between the legs. You can have a little flex of the foot if you like. Stay upright. You want to switch on your T-zone, support yourself. Good. Remember that this leg wants to stay, this hand or this straight leg wants to stay to support you on the calf, the foot, the shin, whatever. Good. Inhale, reach the arm on up directly over the shoulder. Side to side lateral flexion is first, so your chest stays facing forwards. On an exhale, we're going to dive and reach over the side of the straight leg. Get a nice side stretch. Inhale, come back to center. Good. Try to keep your sit bones on the mat. As you exhale, you're going to reach on over, shoulder from the ear. If that's okay, beautiful. Side stretch, lateral flexion, opening up the sides, as well as the hamstring. Inhale. Let's do one more. Exhale. Just a side stretch or side bend. Good. Keep your sit bones equally on the mat. And then inhale, bring yourself upright. Adding in a little external rotation, only if it feels good. From this position, you're going to now rotate your chest away from your straight leg. Placing your hand onto the side of the knee or the thigh. Take a deep exhale as you dive and reach over that straight leg now. The stretch is much larger down the side into the lower back and into that straight leg hamstring. Push this knee down to keep your sit bones on the mat. Inhale, come back to center. Keep that external rotation of the chest away from the straight leg. Exhale, dive and reach over. Good. Beautiful. Inhale. One more. Exhale, dive and reach over that straight leg. Beautiful. Inhale to center. Let's release this arm down. Let's bend the knees and have a little break there. Beautiful. Now that's really important when you go into saw because we've got rotation and reach. I'm going to teach you the saw in blocks now. So we're going to start with spine stretch, which you already know. As well as saw reaching forwards, the back arm reaches back. And you want to externally rotate to get range. Now, external rotation is not for everyone. So that's the last piece of the puzzle. If it doesn't feel right on the shoulder, nix it, get rid of it. Come into V-sit. If you choose Bentley V-sit, cross-legged is also open to you if you don't like this positioning. Now, don't really go into a wide straddle with the legs. That's quite hard to keep the back upright. Keep the feet just outside of the hip bones at most. You can have a gentle flex of the feet if you find that it helps you lengthen your calves and take pressure off of your sit bones and your hamstrings. Lift your spine upright, tall. Lift through that sternum. Switching on. Inhale, pelvic floor. Exhale, T-zone. From here, we're going to come into a stop sign positioning. You want to draw the shoulder blades down your back and lengthen the arms, keeping a gentle bend in the elbows. Arms facing in. You're going to exhale, spine twist, keeping your sit bones and heels on the mat. Inhale to center. Good. Exhale, spine twist. Inhale to center. Now your rotation is coming at that waistline, so as you exhale to rotate, the chest moves away from the hip bones, shoulders down, inhale to center. That could be the first block for your saw, and that could be where you remain. I'm going to shift away from the wall. Good. So you could be just here in your spine twist, really working on lengthening tall to sit upright on your sit bones. That nice rotation at the waistline, shoulders down. To make this a larger movement, we're going to add that reach over the body like you learned in your oblique curl. So from this positioning, you exhale to rotate for spine twist. Now this inside arm is now going to reach forwards. It's going to dive over that straight leg, reaching between your big toe and your second toe. Good. This back arm now wants to reach behind you. Beautiful. Dive forwards, dropping your eye line to look at your knee or your calf. As you inhale, you're going to lift the spine upright tall, draw the shoulders down and come back to center with the arms. Ribs are back over hips. Exhale, rotate. Dive and reach forwards with that inside arm towards that big toe and second toe. The back arm wants to push behind you and reach. Beautiful. Inhale, lift yourself on upright, come back to center. Exhale, dive and reach forwards. Push that back arm behind you. Drop your eye line, look at your shins. Inhale to center. Keep it going. Now, a few key things you want to work on. As you dive and reach forwards, you want to think about lengthening your spine, not rounding forwards, shoulders up in your earlobes. You want to think about this length as a hip hinge motion, like you learned in your hamstring stretch in the warm-up, bending forwards at the hip line, keeping the legs straight. So you get hamstring stretch. The back arm wants to reach back, and you rotate the palm behind you, squeezing the shoulder closed. Good, so it's a lot in one move. You inhale to unrotate that rotation of the back arm as you bring the spine upright and come back to center. I'll talk you through the whole pattern. I need to move away from the wall. Seated upright, shoulders down, exhale, spine twist. Good, exhale, dive and reach forwards. Think about your hip hinge, straighten out the front legs. Push the back arm behind you, rotate the palm back. Good, inhale, unrotate the back arm, lift the spine upright, come back to center, shoulders down. Exhale, spine twist, reach forwards. Bending at the hip line. Reach between the big toe, the little toe, reach the back arm behind you, rotate the palm out, squeeze the shoulder. Good, unrotate, inhale, come back to center. Good, exhale, reach. Inhale. Now for those of you that get confused, you can take away that back arm rotation. You could just do your saw reaching forwards. You could reach between your second and third toe. You could reach between your third and fourth toe. If you find that you're reaching between your fourth and fifth toe, congratulations. Could you reach between your baby toe and the thin end? The further forwards you get in that nice flexion, the more pressure it puts on the hamstrings. So it might not be a good idea for you to reach further than your second and third toe. Let's make this our last one for saw. Come back to center, one more, spine twist and reach. Push that back arm behind you, rotate the palm back. Good, inhale to center and relax. Beautiful. A lot of work in that one class. Let's do a little supine twist so that we stretch a little bit of the legs. And then we'll do a little bit of a pigeon and then we're finished. So from this straight leg position, lift your spine upright, bend one knee. Place this bent knee over the supporting leg, just above the straight knee. The opposite arm is going to come in and pull the knee towards chest. Now I want you to lift your spine upright of your sit bones, and you can start to feel the stretch now on the side of the thigh. That could be where you stay for this whole stretch, pulling the knee to chest and staying upright, lifting the spine. If you want more, take a deep breath in. Walk this outside arm around the back of your pelvis, behind your sit bones. And as you exhale, pull the knee to chest, look over your shoulder and glance down at your fingers on the mat. From this position, you're getting a deeper stretch into the side of the thigh, the AB adductors, and a little external rotation, so a little twist, to get a little stretch now through the lower back from hip bone to shoulder. Breathe in and out nice and deeply. Keep pulling the knee on in. Good. 2 more. Last one. Let's rotate the chest back, rotate the arm back in line with the hip, follow it with the eye line. Good, let's change sides. Straighten out the legs. The opposite leg bends. You can lift it over, place it over that front knee. Opposite arm is going to come on in and squeeze the knee to chest. I want you to lift the spine upright. You can use your T-zone here. Good, keeping the knee pulled in, using some passive strength from this arm. Keep the spine lifted, and you can stay here and breathe. Just enjoy this nice opening at the side of your hip, your AB adductor stretch. Otherwise, hand could rest on the mat and start to walk around to the back of the pelvis behind the sit bones. Take a deep breath in, pulling the knee in, staying upright. Rotate the chest, look over your shoulder. Drop your eye line to look at your fingers on the mat. And get that nice stretch, increase now at the side of the thigh. Good, keep breathing in and out deeply. 3 long deep breaths in and out. Good. Now at any point this rotation doesn't feel good, come back to center. Just work on bringing the knee to chest and seated upright. And that could be enough for your supine twist. Last breath in and out here. Slowly start to walk the hand back in front. Follow the chest and the eye line. Good. Let's finish with nice pigeon. Come back to your box positioning in all fours on hands and knees. Hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hip bones, shoulder blades from the ears. Switching on the T-zone to support you, you're going to lengthen one leg behind you into your swimming. Now this leg is going to cross over the supporting ankle or shin. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, push away from your palms, sliding the leg back. As you come down onto that bottom leg, it could be onto the shin or more to the side of the thigh. You can place your back knee down to limit your stretch, or you can slide down until you're able to cross your forearms and drop your forehead to rest on your palms. Allow your upper body to round forwards with every nice deep breath in, and every exhale, release the weight down onto that bottom leg. Opening up the side of the hip and the glute. Deep breath in and out. Stay focused on allowing the stretch to happen. If you don't feel comfortable at any point, any pain in that bottom hip joint, come out of the stretch, come back to child's pose and have a little break. Beautiful. Let's have one last breath in and out here. Let's unfold the arms, bring the palms back to the mat. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, start to pull our weight back into the box. Changing sides, shoulder blades down, the T-zone on, lengthen that one leg behind you. Cross the leg over the supporting shin and ankle. Push away from your palms, slide the leg back, exhale, and start to travel down. Bend the back knee to limit the stretch, or if you find that you can bend those forearms and cross over the arms, rest the forehead down onto the back of your palms and have a little break. Good. Inhale, allow the upper body to round over your knee. Every exhale, just allow the weight to just release down and open up the side of your hip and glute. Keep breathing. Try not to hold your breath. If you need to come out of the stretch, come back to your child's pose for your rest. Beautiful. 2 more deep breaths in and out. Keep going. Beautiful. Last exhale here. Unfold your arms, bring your palms back to the mat. A deep exhale, let's pull our weight back into the box. Lovely. Tuck the toes under if you're coming up through downward dog, or come up into standing through your lunge if you choose. Take a deep breath in, shoulders down, T-zone on. Push your toes into the mat. Push your hands into the mat. Float your knees. Exhale, scoop the tummy, lift the hips. Push back through to the heels. You can have bent knees if you need. Now lift the hips high, push away through the shoulders and palms. If you want, focus on drawing the heels down and getting a nice calf stretch. You can come back to that marching that we did at the beginning if you want to release any tension through your ankles and heels and calves and knees. Deep breaths in and out. Come back to both heels being pulled down, hips high. Take a deep breath in and soften through the knees. Exhale, scooping the tummy. Walk the hands back to the feet. In this forward fold, place your hands now onto your thighs. Drop your chin to your chest. Look at your heels. On your next exhale, scoop the tummy. Round the upper back towards the ceiling, pushing hands into thighs. Heels into the mat, switching on the legs. Lifting the vertebrae up one at a time to stand tall. Beautiful, well done. That's our class for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any feedback, please let me and Mignon know. Otherwise, hopefully I'll see you for your next workout of the week. Bye.